What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Spotlight by CG Ruthless, man. So let's welcome my special guest from a small college that I don't know if I even heard of, but Ave Maria University linebacker Willie Jackson Jr. Man, how's it going?
Good. How about yourself?
Oh yeah, doing so well, man. But for those people who are not familiar with you, man, tell me about yourself.
I'm a Tampa native, born and raised. One thing I'm a God-fearing man, most definitely, as well as family-oriented. I do attend a small school in Naples called Ave Maria University. I've been playing football for 8 years now. I've been playing baseball for as long as I can remember. Um, I have a beautiful, loving family. I have a beautiful, loving girlfriend as well, who's done nothing but support me in like days in and days out. So, and yeah, that's a little bit about me, honestly.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. But what got you in the football in the early part, man?
So as a kid growing up, like I said, I was a baseball player for as long as I can remember, but I was always like low key jealous of all the kids like in middle school who played football and I couldn't because my mom she didn't she wasn't letting that slide. So, but once I got to high school, she let me play, and I just been in love ever since. Honestly,
So what other position did you play besides linebacker?
I played weak safety. I played middle linebacker. I played defensive end. I played fullback, and yeah, that's about it, really.
It can relate, especially when you play the safety spot. It kind of relates to coverage for linebackers, the
Exactly, most
instincts and
definitely.
all that.
Yep.
So, have you met with any other NFL teams or not yet?
I have. I met with one, the Buccaneers. I
Oh,
had
locally.
yeah, local. Yeah, exactly. A blessing. I had a Zoom call with them, and it went really well. Just like I said, just trying to prove numbers, making sure that I can show that I can play at that level. I have the heart for it as well as the mindset. So,
Okay, at least you got some local attention. So, was there any other offers when you were coming out of high school besides Ave Maria University?
yeah, I had other offers, but like I said, I was a big baseball guy, like big, heavily recruited baseball player. But my junior year is when we got hit with COVID, and which allowed obviously seniors to reclass. And then my senior year, but right before I had a outstanding senior year of football, and then right before baseball season began, I tore all my ligaments in my wrist, which resulted into me losing all of my scholarship offers due to injury. And coaches were saying as well as like all the seniors, they're able to reclass, so I wasn't able to fulfill a spot. But Ave, um, despite my injury, they wanted me to attend the school, so I came here as a football and a baseball player.
So they gave you an opportunity. That's good for a small school. So, what's the environment like playing at that college?
The environment, honestly, it's great, man. It's like I said, it is a smaller school, but honestly, it's where you want to be. Like when it comes to getting away from like the distractions and things of that such, this is the school for it. It's a very hometown kind of school, like because the school is in the middle of the neighborhood of like a neighborhood, so it's kind of like a mini town. So once you're a part of the team, you're a part of like everybody who lives in the neighborhood. You'll see them at Publix one day or going out to like our local pizza place. Like you'll see them as well, and like they know you and they support you. Always asking for pictures. So like it's like a little big family school town in a sense. So
So it's like a family kind of vibe community.
right, exactly.
But I mean, just from going to that school, so it's like, it's got to be somewhere where you're accepted, right? It's
Right.
like you said, when you had the injuries in baseball, it kind of just like some teams just didn't want to take a chance on you. But I
Right.
guess Ave Marine kind of did this to take a chance on you, which pays off.
Yeah, most definitely. I was leaving therapy one day, and I had got a message from the defensive coordinator, and he sent me a message saying, "Hey, like I love your tape. You're a great guy. Like call me." So we had a call, and then he just built their relationship. And honestly, without my mom uh, helping me like through this process, she definitely helped me become closer with the school, and they had to prove not only to me but to her that like her son is in good hands, which they did. So
Okay, at least you kind of learned a lot from that. But so from playing the game, bro, like when did you feel that the game got slower once you played the game?
um, you're talking about like what year or like just
Yeah,
like
what year in college or high school? When did you feel the game pretty much became like slow for you?
in high school? I want to say my junior year. Honestly, that's when the game started to become really slow to me in the sense where like I just knew what was going on. Honestly, I knew like things were gonna like just make sense. You know what I mean? Like everything, like the plays were coming together. Um, like my instincts were coming together. Um, my confidence was going through the roof. And then when I got to college, it kind of went down my freshman year because I was a little nervous. But like as soon as my sophomore year hit, that's when I started to build up that confidence again. I just got extremely comfortable, and plays started to become easier to read. Like guys started to become easier to read. So it felt really good.
Yeah, for sure. So who did you model yourself after?
I was a big Aaron Donald fan as well as James Harrison because those are like smaller guys who played, the linebacker position. And Aaron Donald played defensive tackle, but again, smaller guy. And just modeling my game after them, just like playing relentless, playing fast, playing physical, just playing hard nosed football. So that's definitely what kept me, motivated in a sense.
I mean, he's an undersized guy. He played at a very high level, and he's won a Super Bowl. So he's kind of
Exactly.
proven that it doesn't matter what the size is. I mean, you look at Warren Sapp, another small guy too. So
Exactly. It really
size
doesn't.
don't matter. But let's just say hypothetically, you go to Tampa Bay. What
Right.
would you learn from these linebackers? What would you want to learn from either of them to get ready for the next level, man?
Honestly, I want to learn the consistency. I would want to learn how to take care of their bodies. I would want to learn the game from my mentors. Honestly, guys who have played 5+ years in the league. I want to learn from them. I want to learn how they study film. I want to learn how they how they know certain offensive guards or tackles or how they read those guys in a sense, as well as just knowing like how they became comfortable, like how they were in my shoes when they came in as a rookie. Like what they did and what the things they wish they didn't do. You know what I mean? Just to learn to pick their brains when it comes to because at the end of the day, the game of football it's all the same, but it's just higher level. But just learning
It
from them,
is.
honestly, I would just want to just pick their brains in a sense. So.
Yeah, it definitely is, man. It's going to be challenging, but looking at the way you kind of like got to where you're at, it's going to start paying off, and you definitely are going to catch some people by storm. So, what's like your study habits when you get ready for your opponents? Like, what's your preparation, and how do you prepare against your opponents?
So my preparation starts Sunday. Um, before that week of the game, it starts on Sunday. I really want to like make sure that like those are just like my Sunday film study is just watching the games, like watching who they played, not necessarily digging deep yet, but just watching like their play style and things of that such. And then if anything, I'll try to catch the live stream of the game just to see the pace of how their offense is moving. And then throughout that week, I'm literally picking my defensive coordinator's brain when it comes to who's the weak link on the offensive line, who's the weak link, when it comes to the offense period. I mean, who's the guy that bends, during pressure, like who's, all those guys specifically. But basically just trying to figure out like when it comes to studying film, like what's going to be my go-to move for the week, what's going to help me pick between stopping a play in the backfield rather than him getting the first down, as well as just understanding that like this is my game. We're going to make sure that I do whatever I need to do possible to obviously go out there and play my best ball. So just learning like each and everything, even reading the quarterback too, in a sense, like knowing like if he's giving signals when it comes to that, just knowing like what he's trying to do to make sure his offense, obviously succeeds. So
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let's say hello to your supporters. I guess there's a lot of your supporters from on the comment section. Faith to
yeah,
Passion, Renee Z- Renee Ziegler, and then Nikki G. She's already saying you're the best up and coming prospect in the world, which I like the
yeah,
mindset. Jasmine Green and Adrian Jackson. I'm guessing it's one of the siblings, right?
yeah. Adrian's my little brother, man.
Hopefully, another future prospect down the road. Maybe I'll get him down the
Hopefully,
road.
hopefully, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then is that your mother or no?
Renee
Oh,
Ziegler is my mother. Mama, that's my grandma.
that's your grandma.
Nikki G is my mother-in-law. Jasmine Green is my girlfriend, and Faith is my little sister.
Okay. Oh well, hello to the family. You know, you got yourself a young, fine guy that's in the right direction. So when you look at it yourself, man, so how do you balance your dieting? Because I know for some athletes they have to be at the best shape and they always have to be in good health because there's certain like diet nutrition for these athletes. How do
Yeah.
you deal with that?
Just trying to maintain like a steady diet when it comes to the protein. Um, Making sure like I'm feeding my body a lot with that. Fruits, most definitely. Vegetables, most definitely. But just trying to maintain because I'm not gonna sit up here and eat like a rabbit because my body's never gonna gain that nutrition and the protein that it needs to keep my muscle. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to that, basically, man, it's just really just trying to really be heavy on the protein, the steak, the chicken, even seafood in a sense, and then when it comes to vegetable and carbs, like good carbs, pasta, wheat bread every now and again, stuff like that. So just trying to maintain on that straight and narrow path.
Yeah, it kind of does matter because it keeps like with the stamina. You want to make sure you stay in with the fourth quarter with these games, and sometimes the,
Exactly.
the right
Yeah.
amount of nutrition and the
Exactly.
right amount of health kind of makes a difference for some athletes. But
Yeah.
like, are you the kind of guy that likes to trash talk, or are you more of a guy that lets your play do the talking?
Um, I'm a little bit of both, man. I'm gonna be honest. Like at first, I'm not really saying too much, but if you come at me talking about my family, then I don't necessarily talk trash, but you will get a few words out of me in a sense. So, but other than that, no, I'm really cool, calm, and collective.
I mean, nothing wrong with it. Like, you want to build confidence, right? You want to have
Yeah, yeah,
confidence on the field, but then you want to let your play do the talking. So
most
there's
definitely.
nothing wrong with both ways. It's like,
Yeah, yeah, I definitely feel like I'm the man when I go on the field. There's no doubt in my mind that I'm the best player out there on the field as soon as I touch beyond the white line. So,
yeah. So we can go with some rapid fire questions and go with something common sense, like other stuff. How do you deal with somebody on the team that's just a quitter? Somebody who's just not sold. Like, as a leader, how do you deal with circumstances where a guy just refuses to go out there and walks away from the team? Like, how do you guys deal with that circumstances?
so in a sense, we never want to address this as like the whole team picking on this guy because you're just gonna lose that guy. But if I see somebody like that on my team, I want to address it in a 1v1 setting just to get where their head is at. Because if I address that in a team setting, it's just gonna make build conflict with the team, and then just having everybody picking on this one guy, and then he's just gonna explode. So I never want that in the case. I never want him to feel like he's being singled out. But I will pull him off to the side and just talk to him, see where his head is at, why he's drifting off, or why he's feeling like he's just not a part of the team. And whenever it comes out after that, then that's when we'll be able to solve that problem. I mean, if he's willing to make a change, most definitely. But I never want to like give up on a player just because he feels like that. I definitely want to have a conversation just to see where he's at, in a sense, because you never know what people are going through, really. So he may be
Yeah.
acting out just because something's going on at home, or he doesn't feel a part of the team. So maybe if he like communicate those things with me when we have like a one-on-one conversation, then a lot of things can get settled. So
Yeah, that's a good way to put it because we don't know what they're going through, or maybe there's
right,
just something we're not aware of. So it's
right.
like, it's not always good to put them out there. But like, okay, let's say, it's rare and you get it's football motion for some people, but let's say one of your teammates in the sidelines has an altercation because of the miscommunication. How do you deal with that situation as a leader?
Um, so basically, I just want to make sure that like obviously I'm being vocal still, but then again, like if he's having an altercation with whoever it is on the sideline, then he's not focused on the game. You know what I mean? Like he's not focused on the game at all. So what he needs to do is save that for after the game so they can talk in private. Because you got to remember when you're on the sideline, everybody's watching. So if people see screaming and yelling over here, they're going to draw their attention to that instead of the game, which we don't want. So in that sense, I would kind of want to do the same thing. Really, like if I know that it's happening right now, obviously put my foot down to stop it. But then again, after the game or maybe halftime, figure out what the heck is going on, so we can go out there and be a team, like not go out there and just play individual football because we never want that. So definitely going out there and putting my foot down, putting an end to the situation, and reassuring to them that hey, like we're in the middle of a game, like we got to play. We don't need none of this, so we can save
Yeah.
all this later. So
I like the way how you explain it, man. You want to make sure they're out and they're focused, but the game can be a little emotion for some of these
oh, for
guys, and
sure, yeah,
sometimes communication can actually lead to something like out of nowhere where it's like, hey, man, I was doing this play. Why were you at? So,
right.
it can go on with that. But like you say, go to the next series and all that. But let's say you guys are down by multiple touchdowns going into halftime. What would be your best pep talk to get this team to come from behind and win this ball game?
It would just be the game's not over. The clock has not hit 0-0-0-0 yet, so there's no need for nobody to be having their heads down. We're still in this game no matter what. I don't care what the score says. I don't care what people are saying. We're still in this game, and that's going to dictate how we come out swinging. Like after the halftime. I don't want to see anybody in there laughing. I don't want to see anybody in there, making jokes or whatever it could be. Because at the end of the day, we still are losing. So that's not something that you should be smiling about. But just want to just come in there, just approaching the team as a family. Like, listen, I know anybody who's been through life has dealt with ups and downs. So, but it's not about how you get knocked down. It's about how you get up. So basically, in a sense, just explaining to them that okay, we're down, so what? Like that's not gonna dictate how we're gonna go out this next half and play football. We're gonna go out there and play fast physical football and hit them in the mouth and just keep going, man. But it's not gonna be it's not gonna be one of those halftime talks when I'm saying, "Oh, we suck. We're playing no," because that's not. If I say that, if I approach a team like that, nobody's gonna listen. You know what I mean? Like it's not. I'm not getting nobody with that conversation, which some leaders tend to do, and it's not a good thing. But if I go in there with acknowledging what's going on and then reassuring that we're gonna be just fine, and offense does this, and defense does this, and special teams does this, I feel like there's no way that we wouldn't go out there and play hard physical football. So.
Yeah, that's another way to put it because you want to get them to actually believe and get into a fighting chance because the game ain't over. It's 2 more quarters. It's like
Right.
It's like you either won it or not.
Right.
And if you don't, man, there's a door out of there, man. Just come out there and play.
Yeah, for sure.
Ooh, this is a good question by Faith. My question is, what is your favorite thing to do over the summer?
My favorite thing to do is definitely hang out with family and friends. Go to the beach. Yeah, just enjoying life. I feel like summer is definitely a happy season. You're able to go to the beach, have fun. You're not thinking about school. So yeah, definitely, just relaxing. Honestly, just doing things that I'm not able to do during the school year or not able to do as much. So really taking time just to go sit out by the water and journal and do Bible study and things of that such. So that'll probably be my favorite thing to do during the summer.
Amen to that, man. At least state of Florida, there's a lot of beaches, so I guess it doesn't compare to California, but still,
yeah, Cali.
But for for those 32 teams, why should they draft you, and what makes you stand out from the rest of the linebackers?
They should draft me because they're gonna get not only a football player but a person with personality, a person who is motivated to go out there each and every day to give it their all, no matter what the case may be. If they go out there and ask me to fill water bottles, I'm gonna fill water bottles the best of my ability. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. They're not gonna get a person who's selfish, stubborn, ignorant. I am a coachable athlete who is willing to learn from each and every person. I don't care if it's from the offensive line coach. I'm still gonna pick nuggets from him. You know what I mean? Just because that's the kind of player I am, honestly. And they're gonna get a God-fearing man who preaches, the gospel. And without that, I definitely want to make that known. But just making it known to these teams that I'm as well as a football player, but I am a person that has a loving family who supports me and who teaches me and guides me in each and every way. And just being able to go out there and make plays. You're gonna get a linebacker who's fast, physical, and knows the game, but is willing to learn, not selfish in my own ways. I'm willing to make a change. I'm willing to do whatever it takes, like I said, just to go out there and play. And they're also gonna get a grateful linebacker too. I'm always gonna give thanks to whoever's speaking to me, whoever's giving me knowledge. it's just whoever is like encouraging me. So yeah.
Well, well, I hope San Francisco makes a call, man. They better get you on. But
Yeah.
okay, another question by Faith. My second question is, what is your favorite part about football?
My favorite part, honestly, is getting the sack, man. Like making a good play, like especially third down. Those clutch plays are honestly like one of the best feelings in the world because you know that in that moment in time, everybody is cheering for you. Like you know that everybody is literally rooting for you. So having that in a sense is truly amazing. I definitely feel like that's one of the best, especially like when you have a good game and you know that like your family is like watching, so it's like living proof that they've seen that you had a wonderful game. So I definitely feel like that's something. That's probably one of the greatest feelings of football for sure.
For sure, man. Especially when people are rooting for you, especially when you just play in front of the crowd. It
Yeah,
just
yeah.
fires you up a little bit, even if it's a small crowd. It's just worth it. But let's answer this question by Nikki G. How many sacks did you have in your best game?
3.5.
Ooh, 3.5. I
Yeah,
mean, you got
that
half a sack better than me in my high school days, but still, that's good.
was. Yeah, it was a good game, man. It was. I just knew from the jump, like you could just tell when you're gonna have a first game. I mean, you're gonna have a great game just based upon like the first series. Like when you feel it, that everything is just like it's gonna happen. I definitely feel like from that sense, it just it feels great. So
Yeah, you almost got 4 sacks, but at least it felt like natural in a way how you were
right.
able to get to the quarterback. So just from your kind of like the like what kind of like technique do you do to get to the quarterback? Because I know for some defensive line or linebackers, they have certain ways to get around. Do you just do like a stun, or do you do more of these other type of techniques how to get through the quarterback?
So usually, I'm a really big like really big shifty kind of guy. Like when I do work, like I work with a lot of receivers because they have, the best footwork when it comes to that. So I kind of translate that footwork to a defensive lineman, like defensive end, edge rush kind of like technique. So when I'm rushing, depending on who my offensive tackle is, based upon my film study, I'm thinking about how can I get him with this move, maybe this move will work. But I'm going in like with a like kind of like with a game plan just based upon his weaknesses. And with my height, I'm able to bend. So my bend is like really good just to bend and get around the corner, which is a lot of weaknesses for a lot of offensive tackles. So when it comes to that, honestly, it's just making it easy for me to just bend the corner, reach around, and obviously make a play after that. So
Okay. At least you kind of have different ways how you can do it. Depends on what tackle you face and all that other
right.
stuff. So Jasmine Green said a very good question. When you make it, how will you give back?
um, I definitely want to give back to churches for sure. I want to give back to my father-in-law's church. Just donate as much as I can just to help them with renovation. Um, I kind of want to start like a little like fundraiser in a sense with people who aren't able to get those new Nike cleats or new Nike sports gear or whatever the case may be. Like just giving out to those local kids around because I know plenty of them. And like just be able to like maybe even host a camp, just being around the kids because I love kids. Honestly, I love playing around because when I'm like messing, like playing around and having fun with kids, it makes me feel like I'm a kid again. So definitely giving back to the community, giving back to my family because Lord knows they've been there for me through a lot. So I am in plenty of debt with them. So definitely giving back to them for sure, and just making sure that I never get selfish with the money because as easy as it comes, it can go, like that. So I definitely want to make sure I give back to all, everyone who's supporting me, thick and thin. So
Well, at least you're giving back to those who are dealing with something unfortunate. Like it's kind of understandable for some of them struggling. So makes it easy for them to afford something when you have somebody lend a hand and something like that. So
right.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of kids who've been through that type of situation, but what makes them even greater is that somebody appreciates them and they want
Right.
to do better. Like a lot of history have says that a lot of athletes who've been successful have started from the bottom.
Right.
they were poor, and then they eventually become successful because they kind of fired them up a little more.
All right, yeah, for sure.
Ooh,
Yeah, I never want to say that I was like, I was never poor, but like my mom has definitely made huge sacrifices for me and my brother. So in a sense, like that's hence why like me and my brother work really hard when whatever like it comes because we know that she's dealt with plenty of adversity and seeing her keep pushing days in and days out. It gives us no excuse not to keep fighting because if she can do it, there's no doubt in our mind that we can do it as well. So.
oh yeah. Well, I like this question by Renee Ziegler. Let's see. Okay, like, what do you have for your college major? So if you couldn't play football anymore, what's your next passion? Because I know when you're going to college, you have a major and you have a backup
Right.
plan in general.
Yeah, so I'm a psychology major with a minor in business admin. So if football doesn't work out, I want to be a homicide detective. I'm really into law enforcement. My aunt is actually the captain of TPD, so she kind of helped me, steer towards, leaning towards law enforcement in a sense. So I definitely want to, because in like the same thing, I just want to give back. Like I want to support the community. I want to be able to be there for people when they need me the most. And I kind of want to preach that it's not um, police officers versus everyone else. It's a community kind of thing. So I want to give back to the community. I want to be in the community in a sense. I want to just show that I'm not just a badge number. I'm not just another police officer that's wearing all black. Like I want to be there for my community. I want to be there for Tampa. And just show them that it's not I'm on your side. I'm not against you. I'm not here to just put cuffs on you all the time and take you to jail. I'm here to listen, hear you out, and be there for more support.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, they need a lot of good law enforcement in this world. I mean, not all of them are bad like everybody says. I mean, there's a lot of
Right.
good police officers that are doing the best they can in their job. It's like,
Exactly.
yeah, that's a good career path. It's like, but I'm pretty sure you'll have yourself a pretty good NFL career when it's all said and done. So I'm pretty sure just from you growing up in Tampa, you had to grow up a Tampa Bay fan, right?
Yes, sir. Most definitely.
Oh, you might like this, man. I had Sean King like a while back on my show, and he's a Buccaneer guy. But yeah,
Really?
like, what made you kind of like watch football? Was it because of the guys like Warren Sapp and those other guys, Derek Brooks or so and so?
It was actually my grandpa. So my grandpa is a big football guru. Honestly, he was an All-American high school, Mr. Football in college. So like he played at FAM. He was a running back. Even though he's on the opposite side of me, and we still till to this day have debates about who would win in the whole me versus him. And I say me every single time. But honestly, like he definitely got me into football in a sense. It wasn't necessarily because I didn't know guys like I didn't know football players in a sense. I just knew that my grandpa played football, and that's what I wanted to do like really bad. So and then yeah, from then on, so like yeah, my grandpa is definitely he's a big inspiration to me playing football.
But what was it like growing up watching these guys in Tampa? Like, I mean, it had to be something to watch on a daily, like every other
Yeah,
time you had a chance
it
to
was
watch. But who
huge.
was your favorite player?
My favorite player was definitely Derrick Brooks. Without a doubt, honestly. My grandpa even has a jersey in his man cave, so he was a big household name of ours for sure. And just being able to see him, going playing football Sundays and just going, hard each and every play. You know what I mean? Like no breaks. You know what I mean? It was something to see for sure.
Yeah, Brooks was one of them. He was one of those guys that kind of just set the foundation for that Bucks
Yeah,
defense, and then you had Warren Sapp, who was just a talker but backed up his plays. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
you had the enforcer in John Lynch who just laid the law. I mean, he's still one of them bright minds in the business. But you
yeah,
look at other guys. I mean, that Tampa Bay defense, like in the 2002, was something.
yeah. It was. Oh, I wasn't too familiar with it because I was born in '03 actually. But like I said, hearing stories from my grandpa, knowing that yeah, they were about business. It was and
Yeah,
like you said, obviously we have technology now, so being able to just look it up.
yeah.
Like the Bucks were one of the best defenses in the league for quite some time.
Yeah, there was that time when they were a very dominant defense, and then my good friend of the show, Sean King, who actually was that one quarterback that would have took Tampa to the Super Bowl if it wasn't for that controversial call against the Rams.
Really?
Yeah, he was one of the very few third string quarterbacks that year when there was injuries.
Right.
Took Tampa Bay to the championship. They would have gotten to the Super Bowl that year if it wasn't for that controversial call by the Rams.
Mm. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean, but Sean King's a good mind for the business, man. He knows what he's talking about, bro. Like he's one of them cool dudes. But in all in general, bro, I'm pretty sure it's gonna get there at some point. So it don't matter what team you go to at this point.
right. No, it really doesn't. I mean, any opportunity is a blessing from the man above. So I really obviously everybody has a team that they're shooting for, but in a sense I really don't have a preference, man. This is all truly a blessing. Even like now, even if I don't make it to the league, but just going through this whole process, like it's been truly a blessing because not everybody can say that they've been through, my shoes. So
Oh yeah, for sure. So we'll definitely do a couple comments, rapid fire questions. So we'll go with just from outside of football. What do you like doing? Like do you like playing the PlayStation or the Xbox or what?
uh nah, man, honestly, I'm a big like on the phone with the family kind of guy, definitely on the phone with my girlfriend. And I'm really just like a big, like just YouTube kind of guy. Like I'm kind of watching, I'm watching highlights or I'm on Netflix watching shows. I'm either playing, outside with my little brother or just playing in general with my family. So yeah, I'm a big like outside kind of guy. So
Okay, so you're more of a family guy outside of football. Okay.
yeah, most definitely.
Okay, so if you guys had to go to a go-to place, like let's say, I don't know if you're into like all the other fast food, but I think it's like a cheat meal for everybody else. But let's say if you had to choose Burger King or McDonald's, what would you choose?
Oof. Um, Burger King or McDonald's? I think I'm gonna have to go with Burger King, man, because
Finally, somebody with a good answer right there, man. Because a lot of them keep
the
saying
waffle,
McDonald's. Like, the
man.
only thing I like about McDonald's are the nuggets and the breakfast. I'm not like as big as McDonald's, but Burger King
Yeah,
got them charcoal burgers I like.
yeah, man. It's nothing like a good Whopper with cheese, man. I'm gonna be honest. That's hard to beat. So most
Yeah,
definitely,
yeah. So let's say a go-to shopping place for like Target or Walmart. What would you choose?
Walmart.
Hey, can't go wrong with them prices, man. Ooh,
Can't
see,
go wrong
even
with
Nikki G agrees, man. Burger King, we gotta have it
that.
our way, and we're the king over here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but let's see. So, like, I know some people have this debate about this soda, Coca-Cola or Pepsi, man. Like, which one would you rather take?
Coca-Cola or Pepsi? Uh, Coca-Cola. If I had to pick, man, I don't think I've ever really been a Pepsi guy. So definitely Coca-Cola.
Nothing wrong with that. I guess this is another question. Water park or theme?
Water park.
Hey, water park's fun, no doubt.
Yeah.
Especially in the summer, man. But see, I guess there's the agreement. So it's got to come with all this Burger King Coke. I guess you guys like Coke. I mean, I'm kind of like whatever goes by, but everything will work out itself. So for all those years in college, man, what can you like come away going into the NFL that you can improve on the most on your weakness that you need to work on?
So for me, it would just be finishing plays. Um, Making sure that when I do all that work to get to the quarterback, that I don't miss a sack. Make sure I fully wrap up. Um, Finishing tackles, yeah, for sure. I feel like that'll definitely be a weakness that I'm definitely working on at the moment, as well as something that I want to improve on. Just making sure that I finish those plays because I'm doing all that work to get there, and then I miss, and it's like the worst feeling in the world. So definitely want to improve on that.
Okay, that's a good way to put it because you got to finish plays. But how do you handle criticism? Do you kind of like embrace the criticism, or you kind of like just don't even listen to it?
Um, to be honest, I've definitely gotten better when it comes to that because my confidence has grown efficiently. But at first, it definitely used to get to me For sure. Playing baseball when I was younger, it used to get to me a lot. But my mom definitely made sure that she understood, like she knew that like it was getting to me. So she helped me in a way become, kind of just make that all like just a blur in a sense. And plus, like my family talks a lot of smack. So it's like the stuff that some of these guys say, like I've heard worse from them. You know what I mean? So it's like sometimes I just sit back and laugh because it's like you don't even know what my family says like back home. Like you will never get it. So the little stuff that you're saying right now is I don't really care.
I mean, they can be your biggest fans and your biggest critics.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
can
for sure.
either bring the best out of you. So that's no doubt right there. I mean,
Yeah,
that's the fun part, man. Like you get to finally live out a dream. So it's like they get to be a part of that journey regardless, So it's like it will start paying off. So, it's definitely going to be worth that process, man, once you reach to the next level. So which NFL players have reached out to you about advice about getting ready for the next level?
So my girlfriend's mom, her neighbor is the grandmother of an offensive tackle that used to play for the Bucks. I believe he retired. I forgot his name, but he was there to win the Super Bowl for the Chiefs as well as for the Bucks. But I reached out to him and just picking his brain when it comes to this process, and he just told me like you just got to stay down and stay humble. Like you said, there's going to be critics everywhere. That's just life. That's just what happens when you're great. Not many people like great people. They always find something to pick on about, which is obviously their life, not yours. But you just got to make sure you're going in this process, obviously giving all glory to God, but just making sure that you understand that like this process is real. You know what I mean? It's not fake. It's not anything like that. It's real. So you have to make sure you go in day in and day out 110% no matter what. And just knowing that like there's going to be ups and downs in the league, just like there were in college. But just how you handle it, how you're going to let it, reflect you. You're just going to, okay, it is what it is. It happens, or you're going to let it eat you up inside.
Oh, I think Nikki was talking about Donovan Smith. He was on.
Yeah.
Oh, Donovan Smith. Yeah, he's still around the lead, I believe. I think he's been on the Kansas City Chiefs recently or a different team, if I'm mistaken.
Okay, yeah. I spoke with him. He was
Oh, speaking of him, we need some tackle depth. We might need to bring him in for a workout.
Yeah, that would be good, man. That would be good. But yeah, I spoke with him. It was good. Speaking with him, getting knowledge from a guy who's played at the highest level as well as won the biggest game in your life. So twice, I believe. So it was good receiving knowledge from him as well as wisdom.
I mean, like they say, iron sharpens iron. So you learn from somebody like him. So
exactly.
Yeah, definitely going to pay off, man. But hey, definitely appreciate your time, bro. I know it's going to be worth that journey, bro. So whatever happens from here, man, I'm rooting for you to succeed, whether it's with this team in general or those 31 teams, bro. Just make the most of your opportunity. Make every bit of it count.
Most definitely. I appreciate you, CG. Most definitely, man. I thank you for having me on here. It's been a blessing, man. So I appreciate you.
Oh, yeah, definitely, bro. So if somehow you end up in San Francisco, we might need to make a second appearance, man.
Oh, no, yeah, for sure. Most definitely. Make sure I have some gear for you, too. So make sure to make that happen.
All right, guys. So, it's like a lot of fun, man. But, I'm hoping that you make the most out of it. And for everybody else, thank you guys for tuning in. But for Willie Jackson, man, tell those other people where they can find your social media platform.
So my Instagram is _Willie Bojack Junior 3. And yeah, just follow me on Instagram and reach out, I guess. So yeah.
All right, but I'm gonna just put it in a good way. So, ladies and gentlemen, Willie Jackson. This guy comes from a small college, man. This man he's more than just a linebacker. He can get to the quarterback. He comes from the Ave Maria University, man. It don't matter where he comes from. He's going to make a name for himself, man. So amen to that, man. Go check him out, man. And for everybody else, thank you guys for tuning in.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, CG.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man.